Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, February 23rd, 2020. A special welcome to all of you, whether you're coming to me through Spreaker, my Facebook business page, or my YouTube channel. I appreciate you all so much. And for my YouTube channel subscribers, we reached 100 strong this week. Thank you so much. I celebrated that. It took a while, but it matters. It's so much fun. It matters. 100. That's a big deal. It's been slowly growing, but I know that it can be a slow growth. And I just appreciate you liking and subscribing and following. Please continue to do that if you feel that you've been helped by my podcast and by my YouTube videos. A special welcome to those of you who are new. Please check out my website at lisahopp.com. That's lisahopp.com for all of my services and events. I am here in the southern New Jersey area of the States. I do travel for work and I do conduct email and phone sessions. So please do check it out. I'd love to hear from you and connect with you. So this week's topic was actually through the positive feedback that I receive through my weekly listeners, and I appreciate you all so very much for your positive feedback, for your support. I tell you every week, but it really does matter more than you can imagine. And it's a very timely feedback because this month I celebrate my 14th year anniversary of being full-time self-employed. And I've been in the same office for all of the 14 years. We're the same building. I've changed offices, but I am in the same building. And when I became full-time self-employed, it was a work in progress. I had to become ready to do that because I wasn't really born to be self-employed. I had to take the risk. And so I grew to that readiness to take that risk. And one of the moments that propelled me to take the risk was through a divine intervention that I had through a dream, through sleeping at night. And I'd like to share that with you now and also share with you how you can know if you are receiving a message through your dreams from one of your departed loved ones. And also if you're one of those people who are unable to dream, you feel how you can also know that your departed loved ones are with you. So about 14 and a half years ago, my uncle passed away. And I wasn't very, very close to him. He was the videographer at my wedding. I cared for him. I loved my aunt that he was married to. We weren't particularly close, though. It was a personality thing. I just felt like I wasn't completely comfortable with him. And so at the time I had this belief that if you're not particularly close to someone, that you shouldn't visit them at their bedside. It's something I wouldn't want someone to do if they're not close to me. I felt, please don't show up. I don't know if you really want someone to come and see you that's doing it maybe out of obligation or, because they know you are passing. And he had been unwell for a while, and I would ask about him, but I felt like it was best for him to have those who were very close to him, those immediate family members there for him. And immediate friends. So I didn't visit him. And I know that he understands that. I know he understands that especially. I don't know, I want to say this, I don't know if my aunt did. I do wonder about that, but we're very close now, and I know that she loves me, and I know that she knows I love her. So if there was a feeling about that at the time, it has been rectified. And it's always very important to do that. It's always very important that we all know how important we are to each other, how we feel about each other. But back to my dream. So about a week after he passed, I was sleeping one night and had a dream, and in the dream, I saw him coming into the dream. And I knew it was a message dream. And how I knew it was a message dream from him is that he floated in. He floated. He didn't walk in. He didn't run in. He didn't just appear. He floated in. It's like a bobbing he was doing. Sorry if I hit the microphone there. So I said to myself within the dream, because I was very lucid to this dream, within this dream, I said to myself, pay attention, it's a message dream. He's going to speak to you. And he came up to me, stood before me, and I was amazed. He had white, warm light emanating from his eyes and from his entire body. It was such an immense love that he gave to me in that moment. It flowed out of him into me. And a reminder, I didn't know him that way. I didn't know him to be capable of that immense love in any way, especially out to me. So I was quite taken by that. And then he said to me, while pointing to a watch on his wrist, stop wasting time, get started. Now, as I told you, I was not particularly close to this uncle. He had no idea that I wanted to change my career, what my interests were, really. My aunt did not as well know anything about my spiritual life, really, as far as the vocation that I wanted to start. I had been thinking about getting an office for a while and taking the risk of going full-time, but it wasn't something I shared with anyone except some immediate friends and my immediate spouse at the time. No, I didn't share it in a large way. So I was very much incognito about it. But my uncle knew. My uncle, when he passed, somehow found out. And my sense is because he was giving me so much love in that moment, that he was also transformed by his review. And perhaps during that review, he came to understand his impact upon me and perhaps his impact upon others. And it changed him, it shifted him. And through my work as a channel to the other side, as a messenger from the other side, a conduit of the other side, I've heard that as well, that people are very changed by their review because they get to be first person when it comes to others. They get to feel their impact upon those around them, upon, those they loved, but also those they came in contact with. And so through that first person impression of how that other person felt, what their impact truly was in every way, good, bad, and ugly, it does shift them. It does make them want to be a better person. And so it definitely impacted my uncle. And so when he said, stop wasting time, get started, and he knew nothing about what I did before, and it was said so lovingly, well, it was what I needed to hear. So then he walked me over to a bench, a picnic table actually, in the backyard of my paternal grandmother's yard. my paternal grandmother is also passed. And here is another clue as to how you can know that you're having a message dream. The other side will always pick a meeting place that you are comfortable with. The meeting place is usually a place that you had good memories in. I have great memories from being in my paternal grandmother's home. And I lived there for a little while in my life. I used to get excited about visiting her during the holidays. She lived right across my paternal grandparents lived right across the yard. So we just ran across the yard to go see them on Christmas Day, on Easter, whenever we wanted to visit, really. When she was baking Christmas cookies, I'm there. So we would go through the gate, my sister and I, we would go through the backyard into they had a large backyard, so we'd go through our gate, through their large backyard, into their back door. And as I said, I also lived there for a while. So I was very close to, especially my paternal grandmother. My paternal grandfather passed when I was 12 years old. So I was closer to my paternal grandmother because she was with me longer. And so that would be a meeting place for me. Sometimes the meetings happen in the kitchen. Sometimes they happen in the bedroom I slept in. Sometimes they happen in the backyard. So that was another validation for me that this was this was really happening, that this was something that I should listen to, that I was actually meeting with my departed uncle. So your place may be your childhood home. It could be a school that you loved. It could be a place that you always loved to go. It's whatever your soul and your spirit feel the most comfortable with. They know what they're doing. Now, every once in a great while, I'll also have the meeting place in my childhood home. But most of the time it happens in my paternal grandparents' home and in their yard. So he brings me over to his picnic table in the backyard. And sitting at the picnic table at the time were friends of mine who are living. And I turned to them in the dream because I guess my conscious mind wanted to know, again, if this was real. I said to them, "Do you see him?" And they said, "Of course we do." Now, why I hesitated there is because my living friends were being used to give me further validation that this was a message dream. So your message dreams can have living people in them. All right? That does it. That's just a further reassurance that everything's all right. So they were used. They were told to say, "Yes, he's really here. You're seeing him." And then he sat me down and he disappeared. And I woke up. And you normally wake up right after, you don't have to, but you normally wake up right after a visitation dream. And then you sit there and process it. The next day, I looked for and got a real estate agent that found me the office building that I'm now in. I've changed my offices. I changed them about 9 years ago, but I have been in the building the entire 14 years. It's a very comfortable place. My landlord appreciates me, though sometimes I wonder if I should expand. It would be hard for me to ever leave. And so I'm very grateful that I found it. It's an older home. It's perfect for me. It has the character that I was looking for. It's been a very positive experience. So, step 1, of knowing that you're having a messenger dream. You're going to be in a place, probably, that you've been comfortable in, that you feel safe, that you feel at home. Your loved one may float in because it's actually their spirit. It is not your subconscious. It is their actual spirit coming into your dream. It does not have to be that way. They can also just be a part of your background, just sitting there, and suddenly they say something at the last minute, or they don't say anything at all. They just are there and they're looking at you. This often happens when they're just looking at you, when they've just passed, and they want you to know they're all right, but they're not quite ready to talk to you or quite ready to communicate, so they'll just stand there and look at you. That's their way of letting you know they're okay, that they've made it to heaven, and that they're with you. So please know just the visitation of them is their way of letting you know they're all right. You're not missing a message. I think it's easy for us to get caught up in the Hollywood scenario that if they're in your dream, they must have this huge message and they're not talking to you. So what are you doing wrong? What are they trying to say? What do you need to know? Please know if they're not talking to you, all they're trying to say is, I'm okay, and I'm with you. Just try to know it's them and say hello back. Now, reiterating, sometimes they don't talk, but sometimes they're in an actual dream where none of the dream makes sense. Or maybe you can tell that your subconscious mind is unloading your day, because that's what our dreams are all about usually. We pick up images and thoughts and feedback from our whole day. I'm going to take a water, just 1 second, please. My voice was starting to go on me a bit there. You guys aren't aware, of course, but it took me a while to start this podcast today. I had more than several failed attempts. So my poor voice has gone through a bit of a beating before I even got on, and I'm sorry about that. So it's very important to keep in mind that our mind picks up images and thoughts and patterns all day long, thousands upon thousands upon thousands. And so our dreams are often our mind's way of cleansing or clearing or erasing in some way, letting go of that disc of all of those images and thoughts and feedback that we've gotten throughout the day. So for instance, if you watch a TV show, some aspect of that TV show may very well come in to your subconscious mind. It probably will. And then it comes out in your dreams. Or if you've been thinking about a particular person and have an ongoing thought about that particular person or ongoing emotions, that person may very well come out in your dream. Now, not to confuse you at all, but sometimes we can have interactions with those who are living, and they can be very lucid dreams. So lucid dreams, messenger dreams, are not just from those who are past. You could actually have a connection with those who are living. But what it comes down to is, does it feel real? Does your gut tell you that really occurred? Then yes, it is a message dream. It is an actual interaction. But most of the time when it comes to the living, and you dream of people who are living, it's because they're heavily on your mind. Perhaps it's a past love. Perhaps it's your child. And they're heavily on your mind. a dialogue or an ongoing feeling of emotions or worries have been circling around in you, or just an ongoing thought if there's someone from your past about, maybe there's unresolved issues, or maybe you're wondering how they are. So they're going to pop in to your dreams. Okay? But loved ones can also use those dreams to appear to you too. So it can be a bit of a mesh of what is on your subconscious mind, and who is on your mind, but also a guest appearance from a departed loved one. So they can appear at the very end and just be there looking at you, or giving you like one line at the end, like believe in yourself, or it's going to be all right. So do know that they don't necessarily always float in. They can just be there in the background too, all of a sudden. Sometimes you may hear your loved one in spirit just through their voice, and you don't see them. You don't even feel them, but you hear them. That's also them. So do know, it may be as you're waking up and they say to you, "I'm okay," or they call out your name in your dream. That's also them. And for those of you who can't dream, do know that your loved ones always try to make a connection with you. So you may very well just sense they're there, or feel a light touch from them. But you're seeing all black, or you're just slightly aware of your surroundings. If you wake up and you're unable to dream, and you feel you never dream, but you feel that your loved one may have been around you during the evening, you're correct. If you think of them, it's them. So that's so important to keep in mind. You don't miss out, even if you don't get the 3D images and, all the colors and all the sensations that come with a full-on visitation from your loved ones. Now, another reason that your departed loved ones want to come to you is not just because they care about you, but like my uncle, they're sent. They're sent with a message to you that's important. I firmly believe that my uncle was used because, or I'm not saying he didn't volunteer. I'm sure he volunteered, but he was impactful because he is not the one I would expect to come to me with a message to get started in my career. He was my kick in the butt. I was so moved by the fact it was him that I listened. And got started, so they knew what they were doing. But loved ones don't always come with a "I'm okay." They can be used as divine messengers, much like our angels are divine messengers, and our spirit guides as well. Spirit guides are our teachers. They're souls that have been on earth. They're human, but they now wish to be teachers. They help us with our careers, with our love lives, with our health. And so our angels, our spirit guides, and our divine departed loved ones can all be divine messengers. Very important to know that. And so your departed loved ones will come to you with a message. It is hoped that you will listen to the message and will move on the message. It's good to move on the message, because if they're coming to you to do something, not only do they want you to listen to them, but they also know it is important for your overall happiness and fulfillment. So try to listen, even if you need to take baby steps, even if you can't take a leap like I did the next day with finding a real estate agent, quitting my job, really leaping into a whole new career and lifestyle. If you can't do that, it's okay. Just take baby steps. Tortoise progress is, well, you've heard it. The tortoise is actually better than the hare. That it gets there slower, but it gets there. And it often gets there better. Another reason why your loved ones come to you is that they adore and love you. My uncle, as I told you, gave me massive love during those few moments that we were together. In a way, I never knew him. And matter of fact, our relationship continued after that. He would come towards me when I was visiting family. He never came to me in another dream, but his presence was felt. And so I got to know him in a very special way that I didn't get to experience in life, and I'm very grateful for that. People often ask me, why do they want to be around us after they pass? Why do they visit us? And the answer is simply love. Love is eternal. Another dimension does not stop love. Physical death does not stop love. They can go as far up in heaven as they can muster, and they will never leave you, and they will never stop loving you. It simply is not possible. And the wonderful thing is their love grows. They not only will believe and understand they love you and come to love you, but their love grows and grows and grows over time. So those around you love you 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times more than they ever could on earth. And they want to be around you. They want to serve you. And since heaven has no time, they have all the time in the world to do it. They can be around you instantly, and around somebody else instantly, and around somebody else instantly. So you're never stopping them from doing what they love or from being around another person. They can always figure out how to also be there for you. So it's so important to know that you have them, that you can count on them, that they love you, that you so matter to them. Even if you didn't go to their bedside, even if you weren't particularly close to them in life, even if they hurt you, if they let you down, if you let them down, they're in heaven loving you because they know who you truly are. They hear every thought you have, every feeling you have, every word you say, so they know you. They may even know you better, probably know you better than you know yourself. So please take security in that, because you're accepted, you're adored, and you're loved more than you can possibly know. And it's unconditional. There's no way you can ever screw it up. No matter what moment you have, no matter what you do, it's yours. And it can never be taken away. So when you go to sleep tonight, ask for your departed loved one to join you. And you can even ask for more than one. Then detach, let go, because you can block them in your dreams too. You can block them from wanting them too much, for waiting for them too much, for asking for them, too much. You can ask for them every day, but don't ask for them all through the day. Where are you? Come to me. I need you. All of that. More water. Thank you. Oh, and coffee too, of course. And so, ask for them, detach, and then go to sleep. And then watch. Wake up the next morning. It may be subtle. It may be just as you're waking up. You may just see them leaving the room, the scene. Most likely it's them. Now last week and the week before, why, I told you all, you guys, who listen to me every week, I had a couple big losses in February, and shortly after the loss of my friend Joe, I had a dream, and in the dream he was there, and he was boarding a plane. I was with him, and he was boarding a plane ahead of me, and there was a symbolism to that dream in some way, but to be honest, I've had boarding planes on my mind. I've had making plane reservations on my mind. So he didn't really say anything to me. He was just there. So there is a chance that it was my subconscious mind who was heavily thinking of him and heavily grieving him, putting him into my dream. But it's also possible he was there because he has been around me. He has been he has hugged me. He has been in my environment. There was a sign I got yesterday for one of my departed loved ones, and it could have been very well him. And so, but I'm not sure. I have to say to you, I'm not sure entirely. I will often tell my clients, if you dream of them, it's them, because most of the time it is them. But if you have a doubt about if it is your departed loved one, just ask for them to come again. Just ask for them also to make it more of a message dream. You're allowed to question. There's nothing wrong with that. He's been so much around me, it probably was him, but I did wonder, because it had so many elements of my subconscious mind in it. But do know, as I said, that most of the time, if not all of the time, it's going to be those that you have lost to spirit, and they are around you and want you to know it. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's podcast. I appreciate it so very much. Once again, if you want to know about my work, please check out my website at lisahop.com. I have an online scheduling system. I do in-person and phone sessions. So please, if you're interested, go to the calendar, set up an appointment. I would love to be able to hear from you and connect with you. And I appreciate all of you guys so very much. We've been on this journey together, and over the last couple of weeks, I've been more emotional because I have been going through grief and illness and just a rough start to 2020. But I am coming back, step by step, baby step by baby step. I'm not a licensed therapist, but I can tell you all honestly that I don't mind sharing with all of you that I have dealt with a very deep depression over the beginning of these months. And if you are out there, and I know at least one of you out there has dealt with some depression too, because you contacted me. And you contacted me, and I believe I brought this up before in one of my podcasts. It was the podcast where I talked about how to regroup when you are going through depression. And I know how to regroup. I do. But do understand, please know that even though I know how to manifest, even though I know how to regroup, I can go through depression too. I still have to deal with it. And this one, I'm going to share this with you guys. This private information with you. This particular depression, I think, has been the deepest, worst I've had since, well, it's been over a decade. And there's a song by Demi Lovato that she sang on this year's Grammys called Anyone. And the lyrics to that song are, one of the lyrics is anyone listening? No one's hearing me. No one's listening. Is anyone there? And she talks in the song about the doubt that heaven's even hearing her prayers. And that song resonated with me. It resonates with me still. And if you're dealing with depression, please know you're not alone. If you feel that you need help, please reach out. You're not alone. There are hotlines. I am not suicidal. If there was a camera on me right now, you'd see me dipping my head a bit and my mouth and my hand a bit. Because I know I'm not suicidal because I checked on it with my will. My will has faltered recently, where I've thought about the other side. But if you're there where you're thinking about whether or not you want to stay on this earth, or whether or not you are questioning if you're ready to go to the other side, if you're questioning, please reach out to the suicide hotline numbers. I'm sorry I don't have one readily available, but there is help for you. And whether or not you do feel people are listening, still keep talking. I've started to talk more and more to my people, but I'll tell you honestly, it's not their fault. But sometimes I can tell you people during this month and a half have not realized. They're not realizing my depression. And I'm telling them I'm having a hard time, and they're not realizing. And I don't blame them. I just got the song. I understand it. And I wonder to myself, I hope, but I bet you there have been times when I didn't realize fully what people were saying to me. And I also will say, when people aren't realizing what you're trying to say to them, how bad it is, it's very lonely. But I'm not telling you this so that you feel bad for me. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to ever feel alone. You're not. So if you've been through that, if you've been going through it right now, please keep talking. Don't stop talking. Don't give up on yourself. A wise client of mine said to me yesterday, on Saturday, well, we're responsible for our own happiness. And she is incredibly correct. We are. I know that. I'm responsible for my own happiness. That's why I have steps to regroup. And I've started to say that to people this week when I've realized they don't realize. they're not, for lack of a better word, getting it. I've started to apologize and to say it's up to me. And it's up to me. It's up to me to know where I am. It's up to me to get the help I need. It's up to me to take care of myself. It's up to me if I'm happy, if I'm joy-filled, if I'm fulfilled. It's up to me. What I've always done is what I've told you to do. I've always started to plan things. I've always started to gather people around me. I've always tried to get my bubble and my flock around me. They've not always understood how much I've needed them. And as I said, that's okay. It reminded me this week, just actually yesterday again. I remember when I was 20, my childhood dog died. And my way of coping with it was to try to get some visitors to my family to stay longer so that we could have fun. I wanted to take them to the mall. I wanted to distract myself from my loss so that I could cope with it. My coping mechanism was to get out of the house and go to the mall and have fun. And I wanted them to join me. And they were younger. And their parent, their mother she saw what I was doing. And she bluntly said to me, "Don't use my children to get over your dog." Now she was very blunt, perhaps a slightly unkind. But she was truthful. And I put that aside, I filed that, and I recently realized, yesterday, I realized. On Friday night into Saturday, I realized I'm doing the same thing. I'm not only reaching out to people, but I'm almost begging them to do what they really don't want to do in order to help me get over my depression. And that's wrong. It's not their responsibility to pull me out of my depression. It's mine. And mine seeking all the resources I need. But with that said, I'm not saying to any of you that you're alone and that you shouldn't reach out to people. I'm just saying once again that when you do, you may find that you have to keep talking until you find the help. And that those closest to you don't mean it, but may not understand what you're feeling. They may be missing the words. They may be missing the signals. But maybe a hotline can help. Maybe a pastor can help. Maybe a priest can help. Maybe a stranger can help. Keep talking. And maybe truthfulness with yourself can help. What do I need right now? It can help. It's not really even a maybe. But this week I did something which I normally don't do. Actually, over the last several weeks, I normally don't talk. I normally am a positive person who helps others, and I just help myself. And I talk, but I usually don't turn to people in such a way that I have recently. But it was that dire. And it is that dire still, but it's getting better. So I'm sharing this story with you, as I said, not because I'm looking for something from you. It's because I want you to know, as I said before, you're not alone. And even those who love us the most sometimes don't hear. But repeating, say it again and again and again until somebody does. And if they let you down, forgive them. Because I've been let down, and not by someone listening to my podcast. Not by someone listening to my podcast, but I've been let down by someone who heard me, who got it, volunteered to help me, and then backed out. No, not good. So forgive the humans. Forgive them. It is correct when it said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Some people, sometimes we all just don't know what we're doing. So please keep that in mind. Forgiveness. So I'll leave you with that today. You're not alone. And I hope that you have an amazing week. I hope you have an amazing, if you celebrate Lent, I hope that it is a restoration Lent for you, a time to regroup, a time of rebirth. Happy Leap Day. And wherever you are, know that you are not alone on this earth. There are people that care about you more than you realize. And this earth needs you. And you need this earth to experience beauty and love and joy and brilliance and miracles and lessons. And it can be hard, but it is so worth the ride. Please keep that in mind at all times, especially during your darkest moments. Thank you again. Thank you for putting up with my voice going in and out. Thank you for your support. Please share this if you find it's helpful. Please continue to spread the word, to subscribe. And please, I hope to see you at one of my special events. And please also know that you can order a channeling of angels and ascended masters. I sometimes need time to do them, but you're welcome to order. So get in touch with me if you'd like to know how to do that. My email is serenityharbor@verizon.net. Thank you. All the best. Have a wonderful week.